Hello, and welcome to another video from Alberta Bushcrafter. I went through a previous video on some books from Amazon.ca because I live up in Canada, and I figured while I was doing it and while I was reorganizing my bookshelf, it was a good idea to go through some of my favorite books. Not just on bushcraft, but backpacking and canoeing and so on. And there's some really excellent ones I've got. So let's show these. And I figure why not? It is -5 Celsius outside, and right now I look outside, it's gray and snowy and a little bit chilly. Plus I had some housekeeping to do, so why not? So let's start out with some of these books. And you know, your results may vary. But some of these you might agree are excellent to have in your library. And they're not all bushcraft. I've got a few others here that are kind of only obliquely related. But let's start with my favorite book in the library. That is Northern Bushcraft from Morris Kohansky. Now, you may not get this copy because actually the publisher renamed it in the last edition just to Bushcraft by Morris Kohansky. This is the same book as this. They are the same book. They're both same material, wonderful books. And yeah, lots of essential stuff. By the way, you may have heard in other videos, this is going to be part of my 100+ subscriber draw. You guys get to have this. On to the next one. This one I consider sort of supplemental knowledge. Woodcraft and Camping by Nesmith, or George Washington Sears. This was written back in the 1800s. Great book on foundation. Now, a lot of these practices are not really used anymore. Like, you know, not really leave no trace. There'll be a bit of a discussion on that. I hope not to raise too many hackles on that. But enough of that. The third one. I had this one for a while. This is the big SAS Survival Handbook by SAS Revised Edition Survival Handbook by John Lofty Wiseman. This is any climate, any situation. It's kind of a global survival book. I have the pocket edition, the little pocket gem edition in my pack, but this one's on the bookshelf. What can I say? It's just tons of information on shelter, hunting, fire making, you name it, plants. It's in this book. Dangerous animals. This is one of the most comprehensive guides I have seen. It is global, I've got to add. So, desert survival, if you're up in northern Canada like myself, not going to mean so much. And if you're stuck on the prairies like myself, I don't know about the survival at sea, but it's fun to know. Those are actually the cornerstone right there of my bushcraft library, all those books. And as you know, the Nesmith book is a fairly new one. Let's go into a couple others. Supplementary knowledge? Absolutely. Lee Valley Tools has some wonderful reprints of old books. And I like a lot of these. This is one of my favorite. Shelters, Shacks, and Shanties by D.C. Beard, Dan Beard. This book is 100 years old, published in 1914. He's got a lot of stuff on temporary shelters, all the way up to permanent ones like cabins. Once again, not terribly leave no trace, but well, if you really wanted to leave no trace, you wouldn't go into the back country at all, would you? Right. Enough for that little jab. Speaking of leave no trace, here's a decent book from the perpetrators of that. This was more. It's a very good. This is the National Outdoor Leadership School Wilderness Guide. It's a nice book. It's got a lot of good recipes, good stuff on gear, and good general overall book. It does get quite preachy. And I have to point out again, Leave No Trace. I want to thank old timer Lee again for showing me that article, and I've read a few others now on, Leave No Trace is not the be all and end all religion that a lot of backpackers seem to think it is. It's actually a fairly narrow view. But you will see it described in here in great detail. There's a lot of great tips and so on. There's nothing on climbing, but it's a good book. Would I say it's a cornerstone? No, not anymore. Another interesting book. It's a good one to have. There are better books out there. This is the National Outdoor Leadership Winter Camping Guide. It's good. It's actually really good. It's got a lot of detailed information. There are others, and I will do another video once they arrive. There are some really great books. I'm waiting for a few of them to be republished in a new edition because, I've seen one of them and Amazon wanted $500 for it. I don't think so. So enough about NOLS. Let's change it up. This one's by Johnny Malloy. This is the Outward Bound Canoeing Handbook. Great information on whitewater canoeing and even just lake canoeing. This is an excellent book. And I'll take this over a lot of the other books I've seen on this. This is a really great book on, beginner to intermediate canoeing. And that's all it is. This one here, which is another of my favorites, this is a cornerstone of my library now. This is written by Cliff Jacobson. You've seen me quote this book before. Camping's Top Secrets, 25th Anniversary Edition. This is an A to Z, or A to Z if you're Canadian. This is a really, really excellent book. It's got sharpening. It's got wilderness ethics. It's got how to stormproof a tent. That alone is an incredible section. It's also got how to modify a tarp. I would imagine that a few of my subscribers, you guys know who you are, you may have actually looked at this book for some of that advice. It's got some great up-to-date advice on bear camping, on cook sets. I said wilderness ethics? Yes, that is different, by the way, from Leave No Trace. Excellent section on knives. Good section on a few knots you need to know. What can you say? It's just really, really all-rounded good book on the stuff that the other books don't teach you. So, big pick. That's it for the outdoors and bushcraft books, but I had to show you a few others. Just because. This book is actually, you've seen it, again, very good, important part of my collection because Mary Bell's Complete Dehydrator Cookbook. I dehydrate a lot of food. I use my dehydrator a fair bit. So, this is where I get a lot of my inspiration from. Most excellent book. She also does a book called Just Jerky, which I don't have with me right now. It's on loan to a friend. That one is another wonderful book. Because what is the outdoors without jerky? And then there's a couple more that kind of go towards the prepping side and just the cooking side. This is the Bernardin Guide to Home Preserving. There's also a Bell Guide, I believe, or something like that, to home preserving. Very similar to this. There's just some great jelly and jam recipes in here. Some of them are low sugar. One of my favorites, pickled beets. Got this out of here. Finally, I will admit something. I am one of the moderators of the forums of this site. Barbecue Bible and Planet Barbecue by Stephen Reichlin. Now you wonder, why the heck would I add one of these or both of these books? Partly because the recipes in here, there's a third one called How to Grill. The recipes in here are incredible. The forum on the website is really good too. But these recipes, got everything from pulled pork to cooking the perfect steak to, well, Planet Barbecue's got Paul Newman's chef's tips on making the perfect burger. But it is that cooking. It's live fire cooking. That's how it relates to, well, bushcraft and the outdoors. Really, it's the outdoors and camping it relates to here. There's just a lot of ideas. There's some spice rubs in here you can throw together. And whether it's on a camp stove or on a live fire, I like my meals to taste really good. And yeah, I'm a meat eater. I'm not a vegetarian by any means. There's actually some great vegetarian recipes in these books too. So, Barbecue Bible and Planet Barbecue. This is actually the guy, Stephen Reichlin, who he kind of revolutionized the barbecuing and grilling industry 11 years ago. Just, well, that's what they say. I find I really like his work. His recipes are easy to understand. Got some marvelous articles in here. Now I've got a shelf full of his books, understandably. So, we've come to the end of this video. That's about it. These are some essential camping, bushcraft, and outdoors related books that I really like in my library. So, I want to thank you all for watching. This is the Alberta Bushcrafter channel. My name's Dean. Thanks for your patience again, but hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and good day.